there were some changes in the main branch that we should pull into the f strings one that we've been working on. It's f strings, not d strings yet, right? So if I
okay, f strings.
yeah. So if I pull in the main branch, we have a conflict in expressions. Now, what does the conflict look like?
Well, I don't think you're sharing the screen yet.
Ah, thanks for letting me know. There, that should be better. Okay, so something, I think this changed when the t-string stuff was merged. So there was literal C section on literals. So this is my version, and that is the version in current main. I wonder what the difference is. Oh, it's this E here.
Oh, wow. Okay, good.
Right, so wait, was this branch already merged? It wasn't, right? Maybe something else was. And the other change is this string literal concatenation. So I guess something was...
We're at that yellow one there.
Yeah, we're at that yellow one. It looks like this change was already made. And even improved on. Right. So how does this compare to that?
It has some T.
Yeah, it has some T-string information. And is generally better, so let's leave that one. And there are no more conflicts. So that was expressions. And there is also lexical analysis. Classic macOS. Yeah, I think this is including some changes that were already merged. Hopefully not all of them. Oh, I guess this branch included the branch for regular strings, which had some changes when it was had some changes in review. So I kind of need to pull all of those changes back into the T-string branch. It looks like everywhere the main branch is just better.
except theirs. I mean, like, that's probably better. Probably better step one.
Yeah. I want to make sure that this is too big. I want to make sure that I'm only including the changes for strings. But yeah, this will take a while. I wonder how to do that better. And this is why it's good to merge stuff in early. Maybe we can use a merge tool.
Exactly, and then step.
Wow, this screen is really small. A classic macOS. So if I just use the accepted I guess F strings and T strings are of lowercase. F and T, right?
Meld is cool.
And then I can take a look at the differences, but I see the differences here are the indentation. So that should be fine. What's the difference here? Oh, this moving the quote outside of the literal. Now what is this? How does that differ? Ah, this is F strings now. So now we probably want to take our changes and somehow merge them with with the original. So this is the critical section there. So let me just use whatever's in the main branch and then try to merge our changes in. So now the changes are this classic macOS link. It's probably good to keep it. Straightening of the quotes. I don't like that, but whatever. PyCon is good. All the string prefixes get quotes around the literal. And F strings and D strings are lowercase. Right? Now, can I?
Yeah.
make this thing smaller, this thing bigger. No, not as much as I'd like. Okay, so all of these are indentation, which we messed up in the pull request initially. It's probably a better way to do this than click them all, but it's not that.
And what does blue mean in this case?
Blue means that something changed, I guess. Yeah, so there's something different, and you have the highlights here. So byte literals are prefixed like that. That's the correct version.
Oh, I see. It's a change rather than an add or delete.
Right. And you also get the interline changes. And now here it changed in both versions, which is not the best thing. So if I put back this, now this says these strings may contain replacement fields, but I think we cover replacement fields otherwise. Unlike other strings literals, yeah. So the change in the main branch is to put the quotes around the prefixes, and I guess that was the only change there. And the rewording then we should keep from our branch. Yeah. Okay. Now this doesn't really correspond to each other, and I don't think we really this really changed anything in the main branch. So we keep our version here. And we're done. Good. Oh, nothing changed.
Nice.
That's weird.
Oh, you did a close without saving.
Oh no, it automatically added the file, this git merge tool.
Oh, I see.
Marked it as resolved. Right, so I merged in the main branch. Let's see what changed. So when I do git show on a merge, it'll show me the important stuff, and it'll show these two columns of pluses and minuses. So whenever there's just one symbol in these two columns, the change came from one of the sides of the merge. When there's two symbols, then I need to be a bit careful. But this is fine because it came from a combination of this and this. And I'm just doing this to make sure I didn't do something unexpected in that merge. Alright, that looks good. Okay. Make docs. So now f strings, this is our new documentation, and I think we got everything covered except for the formal grammar here. And I probably want to add a note how to convert this to an actual formal grammar. Or maybe do that as an exercise.
Yeah, that.
I don't know how much you know about formal grammars.
Just a little bit.
Last I heard about those was at university. Well, last I studied them in detail was in university.
Yeah,
And of course Python doesn't really use a formal grammar parser. So how would you convert this to an actual formal grammar? The problem with this is this quote, which is the quote character used in f-string start, as the quote character used in the corresponding f-string start, right? So that means the parser needs to have some context and know which quote corresponds to which f-string start, right?
Well, there's a token, right? I mean, the tokenizer produces the start and then the middle, right? So,
Well,
or am I thinking about this wrong?
tokenizer, parser, they're kind of collaborating together. So the point about the PEG grammars is they were they were kind of made to not require a tokenizer. They just work on the source characters directly. But Python traditionally uses a tokenizer and has a module called tokenize, which will tokenize the source for you. So with the switch to the PEG grammar, we couldn't really get rid of the tokenizer. So the tokenizer is left in and it does some stuff, and then it goes into the parser. But here, as I say, f-strings are handled partly by the tokenizer and partly by the parser. Maybe I should make that more explicit. Repeat this phrase. So the way to make this grammar former is to repeat it 4 times. And say that
You mean like one for
an f string can be f string single quote, f string double quote, f string triple single quote, and f string triple double quote, right?
Yeah, so far follow.
Then the f string can be f string, with this this suffix. Let's use a symbol for that. Can be f string start with the same suffix, f string middle with the same suffix, and string end with the same suffix. And then f string start with the same suffix now needs this f quote with that same suffix. F string end, same thing. And then the quote depends on the suffix, right? So the quote for a single quote would be that, and so on. Well, I guess you use single quote would be this. Triple single quote would be that. Triple double quote would be that. And now f string middle has a suffix. F string replacement field, I don't think that really needs. Oh, it does for this f string middle. That's interesting. Can you end an f string inside a format spec? Like, for example, so datetimes have this nice little property that if you format them with f strings, now you can put basically anything in the in the format string and it'll spit that out unless it's something with a %sign. So if you have a triple quoted f string like that, you can put a quote in here. Put 3 quotes in there. No. Okay. That's yeah, who would do that, right? So apparently, even though we have these parentheses, this ends the string literal. Yeah.
That's kind of like string interpolation, right?
Well, what that means for the grammar is that this f string middle here is sensitive to the quote used to start the f string, so that needs our little prefix in the grammar. So anything that uses string format spec needs it too. That means anything that uses this needs it. Full format spec there. String replacement needs that. And of course f string middle. Not string escape sequence. Right, so all of the rules defined in the grammar you basically take them and you repeat them 4 times, once for each of these prefixes. The only exceptions are these string prefix, which is FFR or RF, debug specifier, which is always a equal sign, F string conversion, which is 2 characters, and F expression, right? Everything else in a formal grammar would just get one of these prefixes, and by this simple mean you need to repeat the rule 4 times and substitute each one of these prefixes. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm following.
This is a transformation you do at the university to prove some mathematical theorem, and I don't think it's necessarily reasonable to put this in the documentation. But maybe there's some wording we could use, like for note. If quote rule in the above grammar is cheating. Yeah. And then you could use something like this. Probably better to use. I already see that this is like too much for the documentation.
In terms of like spelling out the details?
In terms of, I guess if you know enough math to make this useful for you, you can probably do it yourself. Which is called exercise for the reader, right?
Yeah, exactly. Constructing and yeah, that points them in the right direction.
maybe all of this is left as an exercise for the reader. Since I just went through the exercise, it should be solvable, so. And since in the string grammar we point out that we use the negative look aheads, we should probably make the same comment here.
Oh, nice.
Right, let's see how that looks. Excuse me?
Oh, sorry. Oh.
How did that work? Oh, it didn't work. Whoa. Something's wrong. Can only concatenate list, not tuple, to list. Huh. I guess the solution for that is to remove all of the cache. Nope. GP custom meta tags has type tuple defaults to list, and then it says can only concatenate list, not tuple to the list. So that's probably the problem here. But I'm not setting OGP custom meta tags. HTML page context. Wow, should I also remove the venv and recreate that to get the newest version of Sphinx? That's 823, and it was before the same, so I guess that won't work. It did. Something changed. Maybe we have a new version of Sphinx X Open Graph. Anyway, how readable is this? I guess the f-string middle rule is also context sensitive because of this. I'm not sure proper formal grammar is a formal term. There are several different types of formal grammars, and you can define your own. So let's just say in the above grammar snippet, the f quote string middle rules are context sensitive. Big no-no, of course. And if you know it's a big no-no, that this comment is for you.
Okay, right.
They depend on, and here I describe the exact semantics. And a more traditional formal grammar, I guess it's a term that is not like incorrect pedantically. It's just informal. A string middle definition. Right. And with that, I think we are close to done. Now I do a git diff against the origin. So what did we change? F strings and standard types. Lots of changes. And then defined white space. Do we end up using this white space definition after that? We didn't. It's not a problem. Might technically go to a different pull request, but it's such a small change that I guess it's fine. And then we changed the F string section. And I guess the best way to look at it now would be to send the pull request and get more eyes on it, because at this point we'll probably get some typos and suggestions I couldn't come up with anymore after looking at this for so long. One thing to check is if the t-string section now makes sense. So the t-string is a string literal, that should be the same as here. Right, so they don't get their own grammar. That's also an exercise for the reader. But we probably want a t-string rule. So what are the differences? They evaluate to a template object. The format protocol is not used. Instead, okay, but we don't really say much about the format protocol. Oh, here. So that does the standard library section on F strings. So this says nothing about t strings. Okay. So I guess they follow the same syntax rules, and only these are differences in the evaluation only. So I guess that section should be moved to follow this one. Okay, so they follow the same syntax rules as formatted string literals. C something for difference in evaluation rules, and that something should be in std types formatted string literals. And template string literals.
Hi, Adam.
Hello. So this should go here. And it should be the same thing as here, standard library section on f strings. So we should have the same thing here. It's weird how the t string stuff is always duplicated rather than sharing some kind of common base. Maybe I want to turn this around.
It makes an amount of sense to keep them separate because of reduced confusion. Not really a string type, but on the other hand, like the implementation being the parser and so on, they use the same tokens and stuff. So
yeah, I mean, I guess I need to put this grammar here and just convert all the T's to all the F's to T's.
So, in other words, syntactically, it's not really they're not really that different.
They're exactly the same.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't save this.
Seems like it would be nice to have a common base.
Yeah, I guess the reason is they want to make them not same in the future.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
So this definition should be the same. this should link to here. How was this worded before? Follow the same syntax and evaluation rules. With the following differences. And since it's all evaluation and nothing of this is syntax, it should be in this section. Or maybe, well, this should probably link to the new section on f-strings. Where was that? Template lib. Definitely link this template. Yes. Once that's linked, I guess we're fine. Now hopefully this t-string will now be linked from the expression grammar f-string, t-string. Why are we not linked? What's wrong here? These are linked together. Grammar snippet group Python. Oh, they need to be linked. Good, now they're linked. Great. Kind of want to define this probably can put the formal grammar after the t-string section since this is so small. make sense?
That seems like a good idea. Particularly since they'll be similar.
So what's the formal term for similar?
Similar? Oh.
Like the same thing with the obvious replacements. I know there was a term for that.
Congruent?
I don't think that's it.
What was you trying to say here?
That they're the same.
The grammar for
Except
T
for the
strings
place.
is exactly the same thing, except with T's instead of the F's.
Identical. Though there's part of me that thinks we should write this out formally. If the rest of the documentation has taken the view that it's worth separating these out, then the reference should also.
Why?
Should E strings and F strings diverge in their grammar in future releases, future versions?
Then we just copy it over.
Fair enough, but I think it makes it harder. So if I'm doing a Control F or T string middle or something like that, that term doesn't exist in the documentation. In the grammar part in the reference,
Right.
and so if I'm doing a search in the documentation, I can't find it because it's only no. I think it's a reasonable position to do something like that, but that would be my brief argument for why I think you should consider duplicating it.
And it would be weird to have like T or F string.
So I think there are some places in some of the parser helpers use FT string. I'll try and find it now.
I think there should be a lot more than there are.
Yeah, so in the Lexa, there's a couple of FT string helpers, parser / Lexa, and yeah, in AST and stuff like that, but
So
very, very few.
I don't see the reason why we don't just have everything the same up to the AST level.
Yeah, I mean that's Los Angeles, I guess, but for whatever reason it was implemented as actually distinct both in the Lexa and the parser. Whereas, yeah, I mean, it could probably be vastly simplified.
Okay, so now we have this. This is just a duplicate of whatever there was before. It doesn't really say anything to the human reader.
Line 6 or line 5, RF, RT.
Ah, right. That's the one thing Now, what here is something you'd want to search for? Because most of this doesn't read, like some of the names here are just made up for the purposes of this grammar. I know t-string middle is an actual token, but if you search for t-string middle, you get the token. If you search for f-string middle, you also get the token. And the rest here, I don't think is something you'd want to search for using Control F.
I mean, yeah. It's to an extent it's a purist argument, because these are in the implementation these are distinct, and so there's part of me that thinks in the documentation they should also be distinct. But then it begs the question which you asked earlier of, well, why don't we just merge the implementation in the lexer and the parser? And I actually don't know why they haven't done that. So
I think it's for future plans. They want to make it different in the future. At which point they can, of course, copy this, and, change the F's to the T's.
yeah.
But until then, so
No.
until then,
Yeah, fair enough. I think, okay, you make a reasonable point.
I do want the t-string rule to be here for the link target, but that's it. Okay. Alright, is that it? Are we done?
Wonderful. Yay! Celebration. Waving our.
So that means I push it. And I make a pull request. I think this was the issue to link this to. No, then this one. Okay, what did we was the name. Right, hopefully that'll work. I'm sure there will be some the history is not very nice. I'm sure the linter will come up with something. Wait, what? No way. Did I write this much of restructured text correctly? Must be doing a lot of documentation.
Yeah, there was a lot of copy paste.
Yeah.
But it is kind of yeah, it's surprising.
All right, so I guess it'll take you a few weeks for a review. There's no rush for that, but that means lexical analysis is, well, we've covered it all except the very end. Operators and delimiters should we change anything here? I guess I do want to change something there. Yeah, I do want to change something here. I want to merge these two sections because syntactically there's no difference between operator and delimiters. The difference is operators are used in expressions between our two arguments and delimiters are used elsewhere. So at this level, there's no difference between them. And we should probably say that all of these are covered by the up token. Should we mark this up somehow better than using a code block here? If we make a list out of this, it'll be too long.
Have we already done something? I remember previously doing something with the operators. Was that somewhere else? It was
in the token.
Yes, it was here, the tokens.
Yeah, here each one has a name, so it kind of needs to be split out on lines. And also these need to be definitions for Sphinx.
Lexical analysis.
Do we already have the definitions? We just haven't linked to them? I don't remember. Come up.
We just link to this table.
Yeah, fair enough.
Well, this is why I'm thinking slightly pedantically, because from the tokenizer's point of view, following tokens are operators. Actually, it's just token.op is an operator, and it's the following characters are recognized by the tokenizer as tokenizer.op, right?
Well, that depends on the mode. So if you do this in exact mode, you actually get plus and right arrow.
Is that mode?
This is the mode the parser uses internally. This is the backwards compatibility mode, because the tokenize module is public API and people expect that it behaves a certain way. So by default it gives you input for the old parser. You need to use the flag to get the input for the new parser.
I mean, I think it would be useful to add a link to the token, the actual. Would it be too long to have a full list or table of the names?
Here,
Yeah.
I don't think it would serve much purpose here, because the grammar always just puts the symbol in quotes. The grammar doesn't use these names.
True. I agree that the code block over 3 fairly arbitrary lines maybe isn't the best formatting, but the obvious alternative is a table, which is still pretty arbitrary, or a list.
Which is too long.
Yeah. I mean, can we link the token module? But no, the problem is the token module doesn't distinguish operators and delimiters.
What? So, the only thing that distinguishes operators and delimiters is this page. Like, there's... Come on. Like, there's no practical difference between these.
So, I mean, is this a function of the new grammar? I actually don't understand why we've... So, if you look at how, like, the augmented assignment operators in 2.8, it says these serve lexically as delimiters but perform an operation. Did there used to be a difference between the two? Like, I just don't know here.
I think it's just the way they're used. Like, you can stick operators between two expressions to make a bigger expression. I think that's what operators are, and you use delimiters in other ways. And of course, assignment operators have a left side and a right side. An arrow is not an augmented assignment operator. That's a delimiter.
Yeah.
And why is this line bigger than the rest?
Especially when there's a trailing a space for it on line 3.
I mean, this is arithmetic operations. This is bitwise operations. And this is comparisons. And then people just put the new stuff at the end of whatever line felt best.
Yeah, so python.gram has a section for augmented assignment operators. That's it. As far as I can tell, like, none of the other ones are like grouped into delimiters or and the phrase delimiter doesn't appear. If you it's august or augustine. There you are.
Yeah.
So it has a section for that.
Well, that's just an artifact of how the grammar is defined, right?
But as in, I'm trying to find some like delimiter doesn't appear in the grammar. Is more what I'm saying.
No.
And so, like, there must have been a reason that it was split. Yeah, is it just delimits two expressions?
So, if I had to guess, the reason was people didn't want to use the same symbol in both both as an operator and a delimiter. I mean, the dot is an operator, technically.
Oh, yeah, I'm lost as to how the @ symbol functions as a delimiter, honestly.
Oh, the @ symbol?
Yeah, it's an operator for mapmul.
Yes.
So how does it function as a delimiter?
In decorators.
Oh, of course, yes, sorry.
I guess dot can be either. It can be a get adder, or it can be on the left side of an assignment.
Yeah, or in a dotted name, looking it off. Yes.
Yeah. This is just messy. So, I would put this walrus together with the equality operators, because it at least has an equal sign in there, just graphically, and to make the table have the same line length everywhere, I'd move the matmul to the bitwise operators, even if it doesn't really belong there. Should we put dot in here?
Well, yeah, it's an operator for sort of like setatter. Those.
Yeah.
Or even getatter, yeah.
So maybe we should have a new line for special ones, right? So we have this, we have that, and this, right? Arithmetic, bitwise, comparisons, and all the others.
Yeah, I mean, it would make me happier if we were able to say, like on line 1425, an operator is ...
Yes.
The following tokens are operators, and we actually just have a very like a one sentence definition for what an operator is and what a delimiter is in the context of the grammar, because we're sort of making it up as we go along here, and I fear that that's what people have been doing for however long, and sort of, yeah, there's no real rhyme or reason as to why one thing is one thing and the other things are the other things.
I think this is the definition of an operator.
Yeah.
Binary operator.
Reasonable.
Now maybe this should link to expressions.
Yeah, like tilde is a unary operator rather than binary, so
yeah, plus can be both. we have, you know, this whole section on expressions, but it starts with atoms, literals, parenthesized forms, which use delimiters, of course.
Mm.
And there's no real anchor to link like the second half of the page, which goes through, you know, all the different kinds of operators. Operations.
Yeah, and the token and tokenized model don't really help either because they just combine the two.
I guess the ellipsis token is also an op. Yes. So should we also define delimiters?
Ideally, we would.
Yeah, kind of.
So that's just the symbols that symbol tokens that don't have that are not operators. Of course, this is a delimiter. And it should probably be in the same order as the as above, right?
Should we make a mention on line 1459 about the walrus, or use the term walrus?
For this?
Oh, I was thinking further down where we talk about the augmented assignment operators.
Well, the walrus is not one of those.
Isn't it the... Oh, I see. Right, okay.
The walrus is
Yeah,
an operator.
yeah, colon equals. Oh, I see. Okay. It seems like we should link somewhere to augmented assignment because, to be honest, I'm not sure I know what it means.
Alright, so that would be in simple statements.
It's 7.2.1.
Augmented assignment statements.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
Probably can't nest things this much in Rest, can I? Nope. I kind of want to call all of these like symbols, because we have operators and delimiters, and then this was in the delimiter section before, but it's not operators nor delimiters. Should we make like, so, you know, with this we have described on this whole page the meaning of all the ASCII characters, or printing ASCII characters. Should we add like a list of all the ASCII characters and link to what they are or where they're used?
As in the ASCII characters as numbers?
Well, letters. Just have a list with all of these symbols and say, and you know, link link to what they do in the Python grammar.
Well, that would be kind of cool, actually. Is that table even in?
In what?
I wonder if that table's actually in the doc.
Oh, the ASCII table? I don't
Yeah,
think it is.
probably not.
If we did add it, it would be really, I suppose, only useful to add the ASCII on alphanumerics. it's not the control characters, but it's the ASCII symbols, for want of a better word.
Well, we can do A to Z for the whole range.
I mean, there's the white space.
Yeah.
32.
Tabs.
I suppose. But what would adding A to Z ASCII give us? Because then that doesn't include Unicode. And sort of we're saying that the ASCII control characters have special meaning, or symbols rather, have special meaning. Symbolic use, but actually you can use any Unicode character in the whatever categories that we allow for identifiers, etc. So I hesitate to overemphasize ASCII.
Well, we do already emphasize ASCII here, saying, you know, these are the symbols that we've missed in ASCII. But also the Python grammar is kind of defined by the ASCII symbols, except identifiers and strings and comments. Everything that, you know, does something in Python is ASCII.
Ooh, wait, so to Adam's point, we're using the term ASCII here, but in fact, we're really referring to the Unicode equivalents of those ASCII characters.
ASCII is a subset of Unicode. Like ASCII is the first 227 characters in Unicode.
Oh, okay.
The first code page of Unicode or something like that.
Right, I get it now.
I mean, yeah, we could add a table of all the printing characters, but then it sort of goes to, okay, well, form feed, vertical tab, carriage return, line feed are technically, the horizontal tab are technically printing characters, but they're printing characters that are white space. So,
Well, are they?
vertical tab is a white space character.
Nope.
Oh, sorry. Okay, yes, not in a string. Yes, okay, sorry. Yes.
Form feed. Form feed is valid as white space. Huh. Might need to adjust that definition. Oh, where is it? White space. Oh, yeah, space, tab, and form feed. These are the three.
Oh, that's probably, yeah, to
So
accommodate
vertical
the end of
tab.
line.
Yeah, vertical tab you can't have there. But yeah, it would be nice to link the ones, you know, that do something. If I do like the start of heading, I'll get invalid non-printable character. So those we can just leave out of the table.
Oh, yeah, I mean, normally the characters before space, they're just the control characters are just left out. These types of.
Yeah. And I guess the escape. It's also invalid and non-printable.
Well, I suppose it might be worth noting that there are multiple ASCII characters that represent white space or indentation.
Right.
Like the form feed carriage noodle.
Yeah, well, it looks like we do want to put in a summary. What do we call them? Source characters?
Yes, really funky.
And then put in a table. We have a table here already. How do you make restructured text tables?
God,
I just want to make a list
I
table.
asked that question.
Where you don't need to align the columns.
Yeah, those are.
I mean, my editor has a mode for it. I just can't remember how to use it properly. How do you use list table? At least you can copy that. Header rows and widths auto. Then put the stuff inside. Okay. So in this list table we would have point number, and the meaning or use, right? And then we put in this structure for every ASCII character. Spaces, dot, and the number. And something like this, I guess. Make an F string, and we want structure text around that. Yeah, this is long. Am I in the course it does. And I'm sure whoever designed restructured text was an Emacs user. Ah, yeah, this is the table I want. It looks like it's
That's pretty cool.
quite big. Of course it needs making smaller. To C, you can do A to C here. It also adjusts the numbers, right? 9 is 57. 65 to 90. 7 to 22. Make this smaller. Now then we have the space. And then we need to say which ones of these are okay as white space. That's tab and form feed. Form feed is number 12. Then we have new line. And the rest of them, bell, backspace, tab. Yeah, tab is white space. Line vertical tab is nothing. Form feed we have, character return, okay. And the rest of them is control symbols. I need to replace the button on my mouse. It's okay. Number 11 is also a control symbol. Which one was that? That's the vertical tab. And it's not control symbol, it's control character. Wonder if I can put enough information in here to make this useful.
line is oh yeah, white space.
Right, so the exclamation mark is only part of not equals.
Is it also for a look ahead though, or is that?
No, that's the grammar. That's the metagrammar. That's in Python.
Okay.
Comment dollar is unused, right? Yes.
Sure, this is kind of cool. Yeah. Neat. Adam, I don't know if you have a hard stop. I'm okay. I can continue.
Oh, we're out of time.
Yeah.
Ah, ha, ha, ha.
Well, I mean,
Well,
yeah.
I have a hard stop, unfortunately.
Oh, okay.
Not that hard, but I should log off in a few minutes. So let me make a temporary commit and push this.
Adam, do you want us to add you as a co-author? Oh, it's already.
Ah, that would be great. Didn't send a pull request yet, so I can amend it.
I think that table is a nice answer.
I just hope it'll be useful relative to its size.
Hard to know.
But I think this is what the author had in mind when they wrote this, right? Now we've covered all the ASCII symbols and these are left, and we say that these are unused.
Yeah, I think the intent was to be exhaustive. It seems, for whatever reason, but maybe to give future pet authors and what characters to use.
Well, it's also good if there are, like when you encode information, it's good to have some error states. So when there's gibberish, you know, and you don't try to decode stuff that does make sense.
Exactly. I'll drop off, but big pleasure.
Same here.
Cheers. Take care. Thanks for visiting.
Thanks.
Bye bye.
And see you next